Here are the headlines for Sunday morning, August 25, 2024. Billionaire Telegram Chief Executive Officer Pavel Durov arrested in France. Pavel Durov, the 39-year-old Billionaire co-founder and Chief Executive Officer of messaging app Telegram, was arrested at Bourget Airport outside Paris after arriving from Azerbaijan on his private jet. Durov, who holds dual citizenship in France and the United Arab Emirates, was detained by the National Anti-Fraud Office over alleged facilitation of various crimes including terrorism, narcotics trafficking, and fraud. He faces up to 20 years in prison if convicted. The arrest has sparked controversy, with some viewing it as a crackdown on free speech, while others see it as an attempt to pressure Durov into cooperating with intelligence agencies or selling user data. Giga, vaxxed Fossey, somehow contracts ultra-rare West Nile virus on heels of CEO VID-19 infection. Anthony Fauci, the 83-year-old former director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, has contracted West Nile virus after recently recovering from his third bout of COVID-19. Despite being vaccinated and boosted 6 times, Fauci caught COVID again in late August or early September. He then somehow caught the rare mosquito-borne illness West Nile virus, which has only seen 216 human cases reported across 33 states this year, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Rutgers professor who said she hoped Trump's shooting would inspire others will teach this fall. Rutgers University assistant teaching professor Tracy Budd will teach in the upcoming fall semester despite an internal review of her Facebook posts following the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump. In one post, Budd wrote, "Let's hope today's events inspire others," while another said they shot his wig. Sad. Rutgers spokeswoman Megan Schumann confirmed that Budd is scheduled to teach this fall, although the university previously stated that it was reviewing the matter and condemned calls for violence in the strongest possible terms. Budd earned $72,000 at Rutgers and serves as editor of an undergraduate research journal. Media claims Elon Musk is a threat to democracy. But is democracy even worth saving? The latest evolution of the democracy narrative is that free speech is the root evil behind civil unrest in Western countries, suggesting we are entering the next stage of authoritarianism, open criminalization of speech. The Guardian is on board with this development, criticizing Elon Musk for defying European and United Kingdom officials' demands for censorship on his platform X, formerly known as Twitter. The media outlet argues that Musk's actions undermine authority and incite violence, but in reality they are calling for the death of free speech. The left continues to prove it is emotionally stunted and frantic, relying on lies and self-induced terror to drive its base of supporters forward on their agenda. Death of woke, queer activist video game funded by the European Union can't find players. A new punk rock game called Dustborn was released this week, but has bombed due to its woke agenda, featuring a cast of queer activist characters fighting against conservative oppressors in an alternate America. The game was co-funded by the European Union through the Creative Europe program with at least $168,000 and is considered a total flop, with only 83 players on launch day on gaming service Steam. This failure comes after another woke game. Assassin's Creed Shadows faced backlash over its inaccurate historical representation of feudal Japan. The collapse of these games suggests that public support for woke media is dead and that the forced diversity agenda in popular games is not working. Biden taps literal arms dealer for top Israel policy post. The Biden administration has named Mira Resnick as the Deputy Assistant Secretary for Israeli-Palestinian Affairs, sparking alarm among critics of President Joe Biden's support for Israel's actions in Gaza. Resnick, who previously oversaw around $40 billion in annual United States arms transfers, helped expedite the flow of American arms to Israel, which has been accused of committing war crimes and genocide against Palestinians. The appointment reflects a doubling down on the administration's determination to continue providing unconditional material support for Israel's genocidal campaign against civilians in Gaza. Net migration, which regions are gaining or losing people. The global flow of people from 1950 to 2023 shows that Northern America, Europe, and Oceania have regularly gained people through immigration, while Latin America and the Caribbean, Africa, and Asia have lost people. The United Nations World Population Prospects data reveals that more people immigrated to Northern America, Europe, and Oceania than immigrated from these regions. In contrast, developing regions such as Latin America and the Caribbean, Africa, and Asia experienced a loss of people due to individuals seeking better job opportunities or escaping political instability or war. Fascism 2.0, globalism, and the subjects of interest. A leaked video appears to show a wealthy individual boasting about the financial benefits of war, citing the example of Russia's attack on Ukraine's grain silos, driving up wheat prices and creating profitable trading opportunities. This perspective is echoed by presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who argues that elements of the United States establishment are incentivized to perpetuate forever wars for financial gain. Kennedy also claims that BlackRock, a major investment firm, acts as a money laundering scheme for defense contractors, citing the example of the massive funds allocated to Ukraine and the contracts awarded to Ukraine and the contracts awarded to companies like Raytheon and Boeing, which are owned by BlackRock. Britain, which birthed American ideas about liberty, has embraced despotism. A wave of anti-immigration protests swept Britain, drawing the ire of the new Labour government, which launched arrests and a propaganda campaign against the far-right protesters. The government warned that reposting or amplifying messages deemed false, threatening, or hateful could result in criminal charges, sparking concerns about freedom of speech. Online platforms were also threatened with consequences if they allowed prohibited speech, and the government vowed to extradite citizens from other countries who engaged in such online activity. This crackdown has raised fears that Britain is becoming a tyrannical police state, and some worry that this could be a harbinger for similar events in the United States. The United States strike eliminates senior al-Qaeda linked terrorist leader in Syria. A United States military drone strike killed Abu Abd al-Rahman al-Maki, a senior leader of Haras al-Din, an al-Qaeda-aligned group in Syria. Al-Maki was targeted while riding a motorcycle, and the precision strike ended his long-standing role in the region's jihadist networks. The operation highlights the ongoing United States commitment to eliminating threats posed by terrorist organizations in the Middle East, particularly those aligned with al-Qaeda. Commander General Michael Eric Kurilla stated that the United States Central Command remains committed to defeating terrorists in the region who threaten the United States, its allies and partners, and regional stability. America divided on the legacy of slavery. A recent poll, conducted by YouGov in the United States, found significant racial divides in views on the ongoing impacts of slavery. 52% of respondents believe that the legacy of slavery still influences society today, but this number varied greatly along racial lines, with 78% of Black Americans and 46% of white Americans sharing this view. The poll also revealed that 65% of Black Americans believe America's wealth as a nation is tied to slavery, compared to 26% of white Americans. Furthermore, 58% of respondents agreed that the criminal justice system faces prejudice against Black Americans today, followed by the political system, healthcare system, and housing market. Why did Bangladesh lie about India being responsible for the latest floods? The interim Bangladeshi government is politicizing the country's water dispute with India, falsely claiming that India is responsible for recent floods by allegedly opening up a dam during heavy rains in the region. This narrative serves as cover for once again hosting anti-Indian separatists, which could provoke threats from India and create a pretext for giving a base to the United States. The government's actions are part of a larger effort to artificially manufacture a regional security crisis and justify giving a base to the U.S., following the precedent set by former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's defiance against U.S. demands for a military base in Bangladesh.